Welcome back to another episode of Dialed In. As you can see, it's a much different set today. We're here in the historic Hall of Justice in the very famous jury deliberation room. I'm joined today by a good friend and our newest sheriff here in town, Sheriff Jim McDonnell. Just a few months, he's taken over the largest sheriff's department in the country. We're going to take a little tour, but we're going to ask some questions right now. And as most of you know, the good sheriff was elected last November. Before putting on the tan of the green, he was chief of police in the city of Long Beach and then 30-plus years with the LAPD. He was also my appointee to the Citizens Commission on Jail Violence. We really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're not in here yet, but we appreciate you offering up the HOJ for us to do this.
I'm looking forward to moving in. What an iconic structure in Los Angeles, and what a privilege and an honor for all of us in the Sheriff's Department and the DA's office to be able to come together in the same building, but to be able to work in really the hallowed halls of justice.
That's absolutely. We'll think about the old TV shows and everything else here today. So anyway, let me ask the first question. Have you been able to take a deep breath yet?
No, it's been like drinking out of a fire hose to come over from another department, truly into a new culture, to be able to not only learn the aspects of policing that we're responsible here. 42 of the 88 cities in the county, we have a contract for direct policing services and provide other services for the rest of the 88. And then in addition to that, the largest jail in the world, the court system, the public transportation system, search and rescue, 72 miles of coastline, 2 islands, go from sea level to 10,000 feet, from Lancaster to Long Beach. It's a tremendous opportunity to be able to take it to the next level here, and working with the great men and women of this organization and the communities that we serve. Very exciting times.
Very exciting. So you've got all this, right? We got 4,000 square miles, and you gave all the dynamics of the county of Los Angeles. So what has sort of been your focus? To sort of meet the men and women? I know you've made an attempt. How you doing on getting out to all the stations? Yeah,
trying to get to as many as I can and as quickly as I can, but also then tempering that with the needs to get out to the community. You know, with 88 different cities and all of the unincorporated areas, to try and meet the community leaders, the elected officials, city managers in all of the cities. Working on getting through all of them, and then, you know, critically important to get out to the men and women of the Sheriff's Department throughout the whole county. And I've done probably half the stations at this point, and looking very forward to getting out and meeting people in the rest.
Because it is a big responsibility. It's not just being up there at the top, being the sheriff of a great organization, the largest sheriff's department in America, but it's a responsibility. Obviously, contract cities with Los Angeles County. You're our largest contractor, and the relationships that you have with all those contract cities, as well as the independent PDs and things. So as you move forward, obviously there's a lot of issues out there. As I said earlier, you were my appointee on the Jail Violence Commission. With the issue in our jails, there's a lot of good things happening to try to turn that culture around, to do all the right things. And as I've said so many times, there might be a few bad apples, but 99.9% of the men and women in the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department do their job each and every day in the right way, and ethical way, and integrity, first class. So what's happening in the jails right now, do you think?
Yeah, a lot has been done since the CCJV, 2012. A lot of work. We hired an outside correctional professional, Terry McDonald, who came in from the California Department of Corrections to oversee our custody.
Doing a great job.
Function, yeah, she's doing great. But also we've tried to put the right people in the right seats within the custody function. We're treating it as a specialty. For too long it had been treated as the place that people went when they were new, or that they weren't getting along somewhere else and doing well. It is not a place that we can treat like that. Every aspect of the department has to be treated for the specialty that it is. And when we do that, and then when we get our team together and we have the right people in the right seats, I think we'll be operating at a much higher level than we were, and certainly than we are now. So looking very forward to being able to achieve that.
Well, as you know, I mean, obviously you've got that piece of it, but there's a piece on top of that I think that our viewers know something about but may not. But we've got AB 109, we got Prop 47, and for our viewers, 109 is the early release of prisoners, which has had an impact on quality of life in our communities. Prop 47, which just passed by the voters last fall, that reduces some crimes to misdemeanors, which is putting people on the street. So what do you see as the impact thus far on, I mean, we know where we are in 109, we still got problems with that, but now with Prop 47 on the heels, of AB 109?
We were able to, in Southern California, able to continue to drive the crime rate down to 50-year lows. We were able to sustain the impact of AB 109 by putting together monitoring and compliance teams throughout the county, the Sheriff's Department, the LAPD, and then with money we received from the state, also the LA County Chiefs of Police Association were able to put together, broken down into 3 regions, compliance and supervisorial teams for those inmates that were released on AB 109. So we held the line pretty well. We saw a slight uptick in some property crimes, but all in all, we continued to see decreases. Prop 47, we weren't able to sustain that. It made a misdemeanor out of possession for controlled substances, for marijuana, for cocaine, for methamphetamine, and many others. In addition, at the same time, it made theft of anything under $950 a misdemeanor as well. And at each time you're arrested for it, it's a misdemeanor. It doesn't go up because you've got priors for that, which is an issue in itself. But what it really did was it took away the ability for us to use a felony charge as leverage to get people into drug treatment. That's probably the biggest hit to society of all in this whole thing. And so in looking at it, I think it was short-sighted, it was well-intentioned, but not thought out, and we're starting to see the impact. So we'll gather all the documentation we have, we'll look at 6 months, we'll look at a year and see where we are, and then it might be time to come back through our electeds and legislated and to try and see where do we go from here.
You know, because basically made the drug courts null and void. There
Right.
was that leverage to get
Right.
the people treatment, and that's what we talk about, whether it's mental health, whether it's health care, the drug treatment programs. That's, if you're going to rehabilitate somebody, you got to
Right.
take the juice out of their bodies first, and
Yeah.
if you have no leverage and the ability to do that, and so that's been a major problem. And like you said, you know, the serious crimes have gone down, but there's an uptick in the, and somebody said, well, those are minor crimes. I said, until it's your house or your car.
Yeah, no, none of those crimes are minor. When you look at the stats that we've heard, I heard last week, were that the attendance at drug treatment facilities were down by about 60%. That's an opportunity to be able to help put people on the right track that's now lost.
Exactly. So we sit here and we talk about jails because that's what everybody reads about, right?
Yeah.
So you might describe for our viewers some of the other things that, from your Navy to your Air Force, you know, to all the kinds of things that you do here in the Sheriff, Homeland Security.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned the marine responsibilities we have. We have 2 islands, San Clemente and Catalina Island. We're responsible for the policing of those, as well as then any incidents that happen between the shoreline and the islands. So our folks are out there doing search and rescue and assisting stranded motorists and doing whatever we need to do to be able to provide for public safety needs. I mentioned we have 72 miles of coastline along the coast of LA County. And then the air assets that we have are so critical to being able to provide that eye in the sky for our patrol units. And you see the patrol helicopters out there regularly, but we also have very big helicopters that go out there, Super Pumas they're called, and they're the ones that you'll see in the mountains making the rescue of people stranded, people injured, cars that go off the side of a cliff up in the mountains, the Angeles National Forest. The ability to be able to get our search and rescue folks down, to be able to treat and then rescue the person, bring them up to the helicopter and excuse me, and off to a trauma center. So those are critical assets that we use, that when you look at the LA County Sheriff's Department, I think it's viewed as just another police department, but to be able to have a department that has the patrol function, the detective function, the search and rescue, the largest court system in the nation, 42 courts were responsible for the security, 9 community colleges, the largest community college system in America, the largest jail system in America. So when you look at it on and on and on, everything, the scale of it is the largest of its kind in the country. We have men and women who are specialists in each of these different fields, and that's the way we really need to treat it moving forward. But
you also got transportation responsibilities.
MTA is a big one.
MTA and Metrolink?
Yep, Metrolink, and Metrolink going beyond the County of LA borders down to San Diego, as far as San Bernardino, and then up to Ventura County as well.
How about your Homeland Security responsibilities, particularly for the region?
Yeah, for the region, the sheriff, is the person responsible for, in a crisis, taking over the recovery or the rescue, the recovery, the response capabilities, and to be able to then be the coordinator for mutual aid for the region, which is LA County and Orange County. We have a great partner in Sheriff Sandra Hutchins in Orange County. We work very well together. She's got a great team there. And when we look at the sheriff's organizations in the counties that surround Los Angeles and really that make up Southern California, we're in a very good place right now. We have very strong relationships, as well as within the county of Los Angeles. The the chiefs of police from throughout the county are at the top of their game, the best in the country, I would say. And so we're blessed in this region to be able to have the leadership we have, both on the police and on the fire side.
And when you say there's never a benefit from a 9/11, but really with multiple agencies working together, the communications, working together on not only strategies and those kinds of things, but just the communication, equipment, whatever it may be.
Yeah. Now, we've taken advantage as much as we could of Homeland Security grants. We have great relationships with our federal partners, and we'll continue to see what's out there and then be able to apply for grants that make sense for us here in Los Angeles County. But where we have such a diversity of landscape here, where we go from sea level to 10,000 feet, we're making rescues on Catalina at the same time we're doing it on the top of Mount Baldy. I don't know that there's anywhere else in the country that has that kind of diversity and responsibility. And so when you look at the Homeland Security picture, it's probably the most challenging landscape in the country, but also what an opportunity for us to be able to be the model for the rest of the nation.
And we have multiple targets here too, and I have to remind them because it gets so far away sometimes, but there's still a whole bunch of folks out there that don't like us, don't like America, some homegrown issues that we have to deal with, and makes your job, it's not just the burglar on the corner. We've got all these other responsibilities. Other than that, there's really nothing going on in the county of Los Angeles, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
right. Yeah, you touched on the intelligence capabilities that we have and the need to work with our federal partners, and then also to be monitoring continuously what's happening around the world. When you look at Los Angeles County, we literally have people here from all over the world. And while that makes us the rich county that we are relative to culture and language and food and everything else, it also means that when something happens somewhere else in the world, there's a direct nexus to Los Angeles County. So in order to prevent incidents from happening, we need to have relationships with all of our communities to be able to get information in a timely manner, and also to be able to have that information from our law enforcement partners and intelligence partners around the world.
Doing a great job. Welcome. Glad to have you.
Thank you, Don.
Mission Long Beach, mission LAPD, but we're glad to have you here in Los Angeles County. And so we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to take a little tour. So I want to thank Sheriff McDonnell again for taking the time. We're going to go do this tour together and show all of you this beautiful building. The construction folks did an incredible job, not just renovating, but preserving the history of this great facility. Ladies and gentlemen, Sheriff Jim McDonnell. Thank you
very much, John. Thank you.
When Connie Andrews got married, her maid of honor, Caitlin, made some unauthorized alterations to her dress, and Connie realized Caitlin was not her friend. When Connie got Satellite, she joined the millions who don't get true on-demand, and she realized Satellite was not her friend. Now Connie has Charter, with over 10,000 titles, many free. It's the on-demand she always wanted. Take it from Connie. Satellite is not your friend. Watch over 10,000 titles on demand with Charter.
Well, Sheriff, thank you again for joining us today.
Absolutely.
You are moving into probably one of the most historic buildings in the city of Los Angeles, if not the county or the nation. Tell us a little bit, when was this thing built, this beautiful building?
Yeah, about the end of 1925, they finished it.
So it started, so they worked through everything else, and really it served its purpose. What was housed in here at that time?
At that time, they had the sheriff, they had the coroner, and the district attorney all located in this building.
So what kinds of famous things went on here as we move up the floors?
Countless. We had, Robert F. Kennedy, Marilyn Monroe, and the Black Dahlia autopsies were held right in this building. The trial for Charles Manson, the Sirhan trial, Patty Hearst's kidnappers were held in jail in this building. And then movies, scenes from Dragnet, and others were filmed right here in this building as well.
We're going to get to see some of those special jails, right?
Oh, yeah.
In a little while. So what happened? Why was this place closed down?
Damage from the Northridge earthquake back in 1994 kind of sealed the deal on that.
And so since then, we've sort of looked at it. I know as the Board of Supervisors, we've looked at it in many ways. People want to do a lot of different things, and then the decision was finally made to restore it as best we could.
Right.
I don't know about you, but I think everybody combined together, from your staff to the construction company, Clark and others, and the architects, what an amazing job they did in this building.
Oh, it's incredible. It's incredible.
So we were able to preserve a lot. What are some of the things that we were able to preserve in this building?
Well, as you walk around here, you notice the marble walls. These elevators are the original elevators, although they're now smart elevators. We have the original staircases, a restored jury room, and as we saw, a restored courtroom as well.
And some of the walls, you were telling me an interesting story about how they were preserved on the walls.
Yeah, along the elevators on one of the floors you see slices of marble, and it looks like you'd see in a modern hotel, but it's actually pieces of broken marble from when they did the restoration. They were able to keep them and put them in a way where they fashioned them. They look modern, but it's the original marble from 1925.
Look forward to seeing those.
Yeah.
These elevators are amazing. I mean, to be original elevators,
Yeah.
I know they're smart elevators, but they're also very good looking. The windows are clean.
Yeah.
I mean, this building was sitting here rotting since the earthquake.
Yeah. You think about these elevators, when they were operated up until they closed, they had a person in each of these elevators and hand operated. Yeah.
From hand operation to smart elevators.
Yeah, quite a ways.
That's like the old black and white TV to smart TVs.
Yeah.
So who's going to occupy it?
It'll be pretty much half and half between the sheriff and the district attorney. So we're very much looking forward to working together and being partners in this building.
So it'll be total communication then?
Yeah.
Up floor, one down floor,
Yeah,
everybody
yeah,
talking to everybody?
Yeah, they'll be
So
working
it's going
right
to be the
next-
district attorney and sheriff's department, that's it?
Right.
So there'll be a consolidation of the two from the different offices and things like that?
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
We're looking forward to it.
We're looking forward to going through this beautiful building with you.
Yeah.
Again, thank you for taking the time.
Thank you,
and
Don.
We're going to move it on up.
Thank you.
When Dennis Walker was in high school, his locker partner, Dave, stole his girlfriend. And Dennis realized Dave was not his friend. When Dennis got satellite, he also got an unreliable signal. And he realized satellite was not his friend. Now he has Charter and a reliable weatherproof signal, just like thousands of others who switch every month. Take it from Dennis. Satellite is not your friend. Get a reliable signal, rain or shine, with Charter.
Well, Sheriff, here we are in this historic courtroom. I mean, it's amazing how they were able to restore this courtroom back to wherever it was before. I mean, some of us had the opportunity to walk in here before, but it's amazing. So tell us about this courtroom. What happened here?
Well, there were a lot of famous trials here over the year that the public would recognize: Charlie Manson, Sirhan, Bugsy Siegel, Barbara Graham, and for those who don't recognize that name, that was a person who had committed a murder after doing a home invasion robbery. She was the second last woman executed in California, and the public outcry at the time was she was too good looking to execute. You know, so a lot has gone on in this courtroom. You look around now and you look at the benches behind us, the witness stands, the judge's bench right behind us. Really just an iconic room where you can look out the window. To the left, you see where Los Angeles started with Olvera Street, Pico House. Directly across the street, our federal partners in the courthouse, and to our right, City Hall. And so just from this one room, you get a tremendous view of Los Angeles and what people recognize around the world.
And around the corner, you have your budget.
I do.
At the Hall of Administration, right?
The Board of Supervisors is our neighbor to the other side.
But it's a beautiful facility. I'm not laughing, but I mean, you talk about Barbara Graham, and she was too pretty to be executed, and home invasion robbery, and Charlie Manson's still alive, right?
Yeah,
I mean, what's
him.
wrong with this picture? I tell you.
You got to shake.
So, any plans? How are we going to use this courtroom, or how do you or the DA plan to use the courtroom?
Yeah, this will be a room we'll use for our executive senior staff meetings on a regular basis. In addition to that, then when we have recognition, ceremonies for our folks, or bring people in from outside to be able to show what we have here, or meetings where we meet with, for instance, clergy council, representatives of the community. Really, it's a room that we can use for so many different purposes, but one that you're very proud to bring the public into.
Oh, it's spectacular. Yeah. So it's a very special room, a long table, and I'll tell you, if we're going to get some views of this, I hope, up here, this beautiful courtroom up here. You think you think that upholstery was that good back then?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but
there.
A little upgrade. But no, it's a beautiful courtroom. Proud to be here to have the good sheriff give us a little history lesson. We're going to move on. We're going to see some jail cells. We're going to go down to the lobby. We're going to talk a little more history. So we'll see you in a few.
When Connie Andrews got married, her maid of honor, Caitlin, made some unauthorized alterations to her dress. And Connie realized Caitlin was not her friend. When Connie got satellite, she joined the millions who don't get true on demand. And she realized satellite was not her friend. Now Connie has Charter, with over 10,000 titles, many free. It's the on-demand she always wanted. Take it from Connie. Satellite is not your friend. Watch over 10,000 titles on demand with Charter.
Well, it probably looks like we're standing in front of some old jail cells, and we are. But I'll tell you what, I want to ask the sheriff some questions here because this is very historical.
Yeah.
Sheriff, I mean, these are old jail cells, preserved. We'll talk about that in a second. But who was famous or infamous that stayed in some of these cells?
Mostly infamous. I'll give you an example. William Edward Hickman was a very high-profile criminal for the day. He murdered and dismembered a 12-year-old girl. He was arrested out of state. They brought him back on a train. The crowds were such that they wanted to try and derail the train to get to him and lynch him. They ended up allowing the public to spit on this person as they brought him back here in an effort to try and avoid any further problems with him. So amazing story. Charles Manson, Sirhan, when he was in custody, 4 young deputies were taken out of the academy. The sheriff okayed it. The FBI then used them to guard him.
24 hours a day, right? Is
yeah,
that
24/7. The youngest of them, right out of the academy, was 21-year-old at the time, so you can imagine the memories that person had. And then Robert Mitchum, who everybody recognizes as an actor, who was arrested for buying marijuana.
Wow. Think times have changed,
They
huh?
sure have.
Now you could probably sell it. But, you know, historically, obviously, what is the reason behind, do you think, that they've saved these jail cells?
Yeah, no, it's part of our history, and we learn from the past, and I think that the memories in this, the experiences here are part of LA's proud tradition and our history. So to be able to have in this iconic building these cells, which house so many infamous criminals over the years, it's a good lesson for all of us moving forward.
I like the fact that, you know, everybody thinks about, you know, you see the movies and things, everything's powered.
Yeah.
These were still operated by hand, these cells.
They were.
Individually as well as a group.
Right.
So what other kinds of things are going to be stored down in the Hall of Justice Museum?
Yeah. Now this will be a great opportunity for people to be able to come in and see historic artifacts from the Sheriff's Department, from the Coroner's Office, the Assessor's Office, and, you know, potentially other county entities that have something that they want to be able to share their history with the public. So we're very much looking forward to, once we move in, to getting a committee together to be able to figure out what is the best thing that we can put forward in here to be able to showcase our history.
Well, I'll tell you what, let the record reflect that the sheriff and I are on the outside of the jails. We tried standing on the inside and discovered that the prisoners must have been a lot smaller back in the day. But here we are. Again, thank you for this part of the tour. We're going to move to some other parts. We're at some old jail cells. Charles Manson, he didn't have a good style of living. I just know that. But thank you. We'll be back in a minute.
When Dennis Walker was in high school, his locker partner, Dave, stole his girlfriend. And Dennis realized Dave was not his friend. When Dennis got satellite, he also got an unreliable signal. And he realized satellite was not his friend. Now he has Charter and a reliable weatherproof signal, just like thousands of others who switch every month. Take it from Dennis, satellite is not your friend. Get a reliable signal, rain or shine, with Charter.
Thanks again for joining me today and dialed in on the road at the beautiful Hall of Justice. A big thank you to the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department and Charter Communications for making this day possible. And a huge thank you to Sheriff Jim McDonnell for taking the time to be with us. We'll be back next month with an all-new show. Thank you for watching.